Welcome, Doro. Good to see you. Hi, Christiane.
Welcome.
Welcome to our getting on board with the Course in Miracles, right? And it is supposed to offer looking at different perspectives of how to get on board with this masterpiece from out of time. And we are in a fourth episode now and have already looked at the history, how this masterpiece came to the human mind and was given also historically, and what purpose it has to offer, not just to us personally, but literally to the entire human mind in the conversion from Homo sapiens to, um, let's say, to the enlightened and awakened mind. And then we looked also in the next episode at the necessity of accepting a teacher and to step back and to really trust in a power that comes through that relationship, through that contact with him, with that higher power, which we would say is also literally a walking in the footsteps of Christ, in connecting, reconnecting, remembering that God created us. And in that last episode, last time, we were looking at the necessity to accept really this change of perception, to accept mind training as it is offered in this Course in Miracles. And so that through a new way of seeing these conceptual ego perspectives can be literally overcome and seen in a new light and with a new way of thinking. And so the idea for today, as it came in, has been given that we might look at the necessity of where this experience is occurring in our mind. We're speaking the holy instant, which indeed Jesus makes quite an emphasis in this Course in Miracles. And there are from the beginning to the end, and certain chapters even dedicated to explaining or to bringing into our awareness that importance of the holy instant, because in that holy instant, the mind becomes aware of, oh, there is a real experience going on which lifts me literally out of time. And so we will see how we can exchange today our own perspectives and recognitions and our own approach to that experience. What are your first words, Doro?
Yeah, thank you. Hmm. Yeah, it's really tricky about the holy instant, and it's so different to this life here and what we think we are, because we're so much uh into this. I have my schedule, I have to fulfill my job, I have to do this and that, and this brings with it this mindset of always being in the future and the past. And the Course in Miracles says this is just an illusion. There is no time. So I can just really recognize this holy instant when I step back and when I come back to this moment, because this is the only truth, this now moment, nothing else. There doesn't exist time, no future, no past. And this is like very or it comes from the ego mind that we think there is a future, there is a past, I have to plan things, I have to do things, I should do what people expect from me to do, to say whatever. and really always stepping back, always going back to this now moment, because there is nothing else. Is already a very important and huge, great exercise to do.
Yeah, and yet the ego will agree, even, let's say in the middle of some conflict or conflictive situation, and then I would say, wow, I realize I think I need a holy instant right now in order
Mhm.
to get out of, in order to stay aligned, let's say it that way.
Yeah.
And in the communication, let's say with this uh, if we're talking about the ego, that's what conceptual mind is. Every thought about what I determine the situation would be is of the ego, no? And
Mm.
the Holy Spirit sees it, but he will interpret it immediately. Hey, look, what you're looking at isn't even there. You're looking at literally nothing. So in the perspective of the ego, so let's say, and we're gonna say, well, I really need now a holy instant. The ego will say, oh, great, yes, let's have a holy instant. So even the ego will be in favor or in agreement with, hey, let's bring that now from the past and the future ideas into a present moment, though the ego has no
Yeah.
idea what it means. But it will
Yeah.
definitely agree, because it knows until you arrive there, it will sneak in and
Mhm.
again offer you a thought system with which you can rely with, where you can say, now I know what's going on in this situation. Now I know how to get out of it. Now I have an idea how to get out of it. Now I'm desiring how it's gonna change and all. And so it will present in this hundreds of a second a thousand temptations, literally speaking.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm. Yeah, that's a very important, good point. Um, because yeah, and this is how the ego mind works. I mean, and then to, yeah, exactly, going back to, yeah, it works in the past, it works like this, it worked like this, so let's do it like this, like how I did before, because it was successful. But it's not what what it means in A Course in Miracles to have an holy instant. Not at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, and this is the tricky thing. I can always just, yeah, ask for an holy instant, and really going back to this, to surrender, to ask for help and support. Because even when what I see with my eyes, with my eyes here, from my body eyes, it will not show me the truth. And yeah, I just had a interesting situation a few days ago, where someone asked me for help to be in a conflict situation, and then to be there. And I was, the first thought I had, and which, sure, it was from the ego mind, was, what can I do? Like, should I solve the problem? Should I have any should I take any side, like, like this? And then I was gonna stop. So I really stopped this thought, and I was like, no, I want to surrender. So what's my job here? What do I have to do? Or even, do I have to say yes to this question from this friend asking for help? And then it was interesting, because this part in A Course in Miracles came to my mind, where it says, never refuse your brother who's asking for help. Doesn't matter how weird it looks, how meaningless it looks to you. So, and then I just stopped, stepped back, and was just listening to what he wanted to tell, or what he thought, what would help in this situation. So he just wanted me to be there, nothing else. So, and then it started, and it was really miraculous how it went, this conversation, because even the other person who had the conflict with my friend was like, wow, great, you're here. So yeah, I want you to witness this conversation and just be here. Maybe you can translate, because it was in English, and my friend is from Germany and not always sure about if he understands. So yeah, and then it just went very well. And I also realized again, what's really my purpose is here, what's my function, just to be there, just to be present, just to be in this holy instant and nothing else, not what my ego says, tells me to do, nothing, not relying from the past, or what I think would be good to do or to say or not to say. So it was really yeah, so it guides us always to this into the recognition of what we really are.
Mhm. And you're describing also then the experience. I was just sharing that in a session with Andreas yesterday, which was about the holy relationship. The moment I experience an holy instant, I know I'm literally touching and extending the holy relationship, or opening up at least,
Yeah, yeah.
giving that a chance, that the holiness is literally, you're saying it, you were just present. And that is my experience too, of a holy instant, a pure presence. And of
Mm.
course, I had no idea, even by already having heard about a holy instant, until it was literally opening up and showed up to me. And in my own words, it was a complete merging with everything in my dream, with the other
Mm.
one with whom I was in conflict at that time, when I experienced that for the first time. And I was immediately aware that this is myself. And there's only myself here, and there is nobody else here. There is no other person there. This is me, myself. And besides that, my experience was through that merging of the idea in and as oneself, was, of course, a complete dissolution of everything that I was holding on, of myself, of knowing something, of trying to solve the situation. In other words, I was falling apart in that moment. The holy
Mhm.
instant offers a falling apart of the old self, of that self that is defended, that is protected, that thinks that it can still manage the situation or can know it in any way. That falls apart. That's a holy instant. And
Mm.
yet, like there might be people now, brothers, myself, who have not yet opened up to that memory, and just come now by maybe that title that we offer today in that recording, and want to listen to that and have the desire in their mind. Why I would like to experience such a holy instant too. And I hear you guys talking about it, and yet in my perspective, I think I haven't had an holy instant. And I would like to share two paragraphs of chapter 15, because
Yeah.
because Jesus starts talking about the holy instant in that chapter really, and giving emphasis, because from that chapter on, he gives, for the next 2, 3 chapters of the textbook of A Course in Miracles, he makes really emphasis on relationship in both ways, the special relationship and the holy relationship, and therefore introduces the holy instant. And of course he explains also and directs the mind, hey, look, I'm showing you here something that is the solution to all your relationships. And at that point, which I came over in that second section of chapter 15, in the fifth paragraph, he actually speaks to our mind in that still ignorance, in that not knowing about what that even is. And he points it out simply, well, you have no idea what a holy instant is. You haven't had a holy instant. So let's just give that a premise and a basis in our expression, and then seeing how we open up to further definitions of our own experience by listening to his words. So I read the fifth paragraph. You can read then the sixth paragraph, which is then anyway the last paragraph to this section. The holy instant has not yet happened to you, yet it will, and you will recognize it with perfect certainty. No gift of God is recognized in any other way. You can practice the mechanics of the holy instant and will learn much from doing so, yet its shining and glittering brilliance, which will literally blind you to this world, literally blind me to this world, by its own vision, you cannot supply. And here it is all in this instant, complete, accomplished, and given wholly. Did you find it? The sixth paragraph, do you want to read it?
No, I didn't find, like, maybe like I have a
Okay, then
different.
I continue, yeah?
Yeah.
Start now. It's in the second section, yeah? Chapter
Here, I
15,
found
section
it.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah? Start now. Do you want to read it?
Yeah. Start now to practice your little part in separating out the holy instant. You will receive very specific introductions as you go along.
Instructions.
Instructions, what did I say? Instructions as you go along. To learn to separate out the single second and to experience it as timeless is to begin to experience yourself as not separate. Fear not that you will not be given help in this. God's teacher and his lesson will support your strength. It is only your weakness that will depart from you in this practice, for it is the practice of the power of God in you. Use it but for one instant, and you will never deny it again. Who can deny the presence of what the universe bows to in appreciation and gladness? Before the recognition of the universe that witnesses to it, your doubts must disappear.
So what is so amazing here also is that he says and directs us to practice. I can practice a holy instant, and therefore I practice then that power of God in me. And I bring it to a practice so that it can literally shine away my misinterpreted word I placed out there. That's amazing, you know. I can practice something that brings me into timelessness.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really again and again to let go of my mindset, of my thoughts, of my what I think, how it works. And he really let me let the Holy Spirit teach me and really be ready to listen to him. And it will always bring like these beautiful, miraculous results. Again, to feel connected to my brother, to feel connected to God. And yeah, indeed, I mean, I will never deny it again.
Yeah. Yeah, and it goes even further than feeling connected because the ego can deal with that too. That means, hey, we are good friends, we are brothers, we are a couple, we are parents and children, and so on. We are the ones in the light circle together. The ego deals perfectly fine with that to keep it in separation. But as we were reading, to experience myself as not separate. That's what it is about.
Mm-hmm.
And unless there is this disappearance of all idea of separation and the real recognition, this is myself, the holy instant will serve its purpose perfectly well, no? Because that is really what we are here for. We are here for to experience ourselves as oneself.
Yeah.
And it is an instant in time without even the capability to define what an instant is. No?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind I'm using that as a word, as a miniature of eternity of heaven, he says on a different point in the course. That's what the holy instant is. And it's literally of being not here. And that instant is offered to the Holy Spirit, to the holiness of our own mind. And that's why at this beginning of this section, then he points out that an instant offered to the Holy Spirit is offered to God. We are literally offering here a recognition and an experience within ourselves to the Creator Himself, to God. And in that instant, he says, then you will awaken gently in Him, in God.
Mm.
That no matter what memory is still present or opens up in that experience of an holy instant, it is an awakening experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's an It's literally a waking up from that dream of being in separation and seeing everything in separation and keeping everything in separation.
Yeah, and here's even like there's a very nice sentence I really love. It says, in the holy instant, you will unchain all your brothers and you refuse to support either their weakness or your own.
Mhm.
And I mean, this is for me, this is always much easier to when I really can, or I know I include all my brothers, and I never do just everything for myself. It gives me kind of more motivation to go straight forward and really experience that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
also the word unchain.
yeah,
I mean, that means I laid them first chains on.
yeah,
And they are
yeah,
literally
yeah.
performing for me, uh, the old story, the old meaning I have given to them from the past, in to be that fragment with which I can stay in separation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then to
sure.
say, no, this is actually weakness to stay in separation. and I'm willing to come to a new strength, which will show me the oneness with my brother is the oneness with the reflection of oneness with God,
And it's
oneness
my
of
strength.
creation.
It's our strength. It's not weakness. There is never weakness. And then I will recognize there was never weakness, and there was never a body, and there's never separation, and there's never you and me as separate from each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, and at the same time, it encouraged so much what you was just reading, that it's a gentle process. This is something else where I feel always like, oh my God, this is so loving. This is just so beautiful when I know it will never shock me, God will never, or the Holy Spirit would never shock me, or do something where I feel it's over my, even it's my limits in my mind, or I don't know what. It's always gentle.
Yeah. Because it's a replacement. And what we already mentioned, and you mentioned that before too in the beginning, it is a recognition that I'm at the end of the road with my past learning. And that's really the basis for that a holy instant can occur. And that, of course, is also then shown in and through the holy instant. That the past learning has no importance anymore. It doesn't intrude into the holy instant. And that would be also then the direction that Jesus gives throughout the course. Hey, we need to train you so that you can become aware that you're applying past learning and you don't need to do that anymore. That you can literally trust in what is creatively given you, which is not an accumulation of learning. And also in that same section, Jesus expresses it very beautifully in one sentence, and he calls that the blessed instant. It's pretty at the beginning.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
he says also, hey, you will let go all, all of your past learning. You will. That's
Yeah.
inevitable. It's inevitable that you will let go of all your past learning. That includes also that I can identify a situation, that I can even say this and this and this is going on right now. That's all past learning.
Mhm.
Only if I don't even know, that is innocence, when I let go of any interpretation, any meaning, what the situation even is, and what it is talked about or reflected upon, then I'm at the point of seeing, okay, I'm not applying past learning. And he continues saying, and the Holy Spirit will quickly, because he is present in the holy instant, he will quickly uh, uh, offer us the whole lesson of peace, the whole lesson, the entire lesson, and the wholeness of the lesson of peace. So how the Holy Spirit offers that is simply that we find ourselves in an
Yeah.
experience of peace. And at
Mm.
that point is is necessary to recognize, wow, I have arrived. This is it. There is nothing beyond the peace of God. And here starts really the application and the mind training. Because at
Mhm.
that point, of course, I will be tempted. I will tempt myself again in similar forms of
Yeah.
situation. Can I remember now? Can I remember that that replacement with peace has occurred, and it's now up to me to really give that the full priority and not
Yeah.
replace it again with my past learning and past interpretation, which means I have a need. And that is really in connection what you were just mentioning first with this unchaining our brothers. I have to stand up and declare myself, hey brother, we have shared, or at least I have a full memory of an experience of an holy instant with you. This is real. Do not even touch that anymore or give me that where we were before. We have been already there. This is over. We don't need to repeat the problem in order to remember the holy instant now. We can remember that now and literally look through or or be completely vigilant and aware not to touch the past ego thought anymore. And it has to come. The holy instant is an invitation to stand up and demonstrate that. That's teaching. That's
Yeah,
teaching.
yeah, yeah. So, and yeah, and then first of all, I always have to decide to, I mean, I cannot extend the holy instant, but it's always to really be aware of, yeah, not, as you said, like not to go back to, I think I have a problem, because this is what the ego wants quickly to, like, trying to to sneak in and to say, no, but you have a problem. You still have a problem. And this
I
is
mean, what
the
does the
very,
problem reflect? It
huh?
reflects fear. No? It
Yeah,
reflects a
yeah,
state of fear. That's what we call problem. It's basically my own
yeah.
reflection of fear that I'm seeing. No? And that's
Mm,
how the ego determines its continuancy. No?
yeah.
And in the holy instant, the fear is dissolved.
Yes.
That's why it's the only part to say this is worth holding on to or remembering.
Yeah.
Because I have a memory, I have an instant of a memory in which all fear was removed.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I couldn't even feel one with you.
Yeah.
So the question is, do we both want a moment of removal of fear? I want it. I declare myself. I start out and say, hey, let's keep that moment of no fear, of fearlessness uh, present in our relationship. That is how we should approach all relationship problems,
Mm,
because that comes then from our own experience, what we want and what we declare.
yeah.
If I think I lose something by letting go of fear, I will continue replacing it, continue, okay, and now it's again and again and again and again, and the problem will present itself innumerable times until
Mm.
I stand up and say, I have enough of demonstrating fear or stand behind fear.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Because, yeah. So what do I want to prove, for what I want to, yeah, stand up for? What's, yeah, what do I want? I want to be, yeah, an example for what I really am, or do I want to be an example for the ego and for the past and separation and so on?
Mhm. Yeah, nice. That's very important now what is given us right now, no? And how it crystallizes to what stands behind in the undoing process of what the Holy Instant offers. No? It offers me the release of from fear.
Yeah, and really from the past. I mean, like,
Yeah, it's
otherwise
the
I
same.
always repeat the past.
Yeah,
Um, and this actually is it's not what we want, even if we don't know, or we repeat it out of we forgot, but actually we don't want.
yeah. And all the past and past thoughts are in some connection with fear. There is no past
Yeah.
thought, even
Yeah.
even if we say uh, in an observation, hey, remember our trip up there and what we did and vacation and the wedding and all that and how great it was. The
Mhm.
moment I name it, the moment I have a meaning to it, I'm already in fear because I feared that I could lose that memory, that it
Mhm.
would disappear. Who am I if I disappear
Mhm.
this wonderful image of that memory? It's all based on fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing, huh? And
Yeah.
if we let come flower, if we let it blossom, that instant to the peace of God, to eternity, then all memory is, we give permission. I give permission that it can be translated into truth. No? That means that I lose literally the conceptual memory of it, the story about it. That is when we go along with the application of the Holy Instant and give that to the Holy Spirit. We give it allowance that it can show us the love and light in it, and only that. How can I really say I recognize the love of God if I have a story about it? That's the
Mm.
negation of the love of God.
Mhm.
No, the story has to go, because
Mhm.
I'm the storyteller. I make up the story. The story doesn't come from God.
Yeah. 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 And this is really that I sink into this now moment, and I it's really it's not I feel it's very difficult to explain because it's not to explain actually. um it's but it in the Course in Miracles is it's described as, yeah, everything really will disappear, everything else will just disappear. It's not important that there was a past or who I think I was, or my personality is like this or like that, and I did this certificate, I don't know what. It's not important anymore. It's really falling apart. Everything else is falling apart, and I'm yeah, I'm really sinking into this now moment, and there is nothing else.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I mean the most important thing is that we will know when we experience it, when we recognize.
Yeah.
So we don't need to explain.
And at the beginning of that paragraph where you were sharing already this unchaining of all your brothers, he says very plainly, for you are where you have forever been and will forever be, and that you have forever. And the blessed instant reaches out to encompass time. It literally envelops
Mhm.
time
Yeah,
as
yeah.
God extends himself to encompass you. And you who have spent days, hours, and even years in
Hmm.
chaining your brothers to your ego in an attempt to support it and uphold its weakness, do not perceive the source of strength. No? And that
Yeah.
source of strength is now then literally in this healing experience of the Holy Instant, remembered, reopened, re-experienced. So we are going for um, a reopening of an ancient memory of that uh, demonstration of the strengths capitalized within ourselves, which is literally creative power itself. And so that we can also give testimony. Yes, this is really given me forever and forever. This instant is extending through me throughout all my idea of time, because it is a miniature to a miniature of eternity. It is an
Hmm.
instant of an eternal sharing. And this is really all I want and all I need in all my relationships. And do I need to acknowledge? That's really what the teacher is for. Ne? The teacher capitalized. Jesus himself coming into the dream. Do I need to acknowledge that the problem that I have made up and was holding on is is not real and isn't really a problem? It's really just a made up problem. Absolutely. And the it's also interesting how that is orchestrating itself. In my experience, it showed up as either you're coming up with me from that perspective where we see it from vision, or you better go your way and have some more pain in your life, in your dream. That was his offer, you know. He gave me a
Yeah,
choice. He gave everyone the choice who would come to
yeah,
him, you know, because we are free. I can say, well, I haven't experienced enough pain. Well, then I be better about it to experience more pain so that it becomes so painful and so much suffering that I become willing to let go. So it has to be sorted out. This is what
hmm,
the Holy Spirit and its manifestations in our dreams help us with. He helps us to sort out that we are no longer holding on to the story of the problem,
yeah,
because otherwise there is no holy instant.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Here, a little bit earlier in this chapter, and this is exactly this what you said. It takes far longer to teach you how to be willing to give him this than for him to use this tiny instant to offer you the whole of heaven. In exchange for this instant, he stands ready to give you the remembrance of eternity.
There we have it.
Yeah. I always feel like I try to describe something, and when I just read it, it says everything. And
It's
I
all
try
there,
always to
huh?
find words.
But look, I think it's great what we are doing, because who is listening? I'm talking to myself, right? I'm
Exactly.
listening. So in teaching that to myself and I'm listening, there's also a strength of finally trusting in it, you know, in its value and in its content and what it really says.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, I'm doing this course in miracles now uh, almost 30 years, and I have read these passages, even this one we are sharing today, I don't know, 20, 30 times, I would say at least. Yeah. And of course, I can overread it very
Mhm.
fast by just reading it. Ne? And the overreading would be that's really how the ego sneaks in. Ah, we
Mhm.
know it. We know that. Yeah, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Ne? But the moment I actually start teaching it, I basically I give myself time with it. Ne? I open up some
yeah,
space. That's really where the correction, the healing happens, ne? When we give
yeah,
ourselves space to let it settle in. Ne? That's the value of it. Ne?
yeah, Yeah, this is exactly what I meant before. Like, it's this, what do I want to, yeah, exactly, teach myself? What do I want to put effort, time, energy, I don't know, my attention into it? Like, is it separation, or is it fear, whatever, or is it the remembrance of God and what I am? And yeah, and exactly, for me, I mean, it was the same, like, why I wanted to do this course here with you, um, just
Well,
to
let's maybe
teach
just
myself.
then let's go and practice the holy instant. I can put some music on and have
Yeah,
just um,
yeah. So then,
we are three here in the room. Christiana has joined us. There's no accident in that. And so we practice the holy instant, and of course, we'll open up and include everyone in our mind. No? And I have some song from a brother, so there's no copyright issue with that either.
great.
Come to the table, come to the feast, come be the giver of the grace. Come as a lover, come as a friend, come join the joy that will not end. As you sow, you shall reap. If it's love you would keep, if it's love for which you live, then love you must give. Come join the living, come as you are, come for a moment, come to stay. Some come by fire, some by flood, but to love it's all the same. Come be free, come and see. Come with me to a pasture green.
Just open my light.
Wow. Thank you, danke, danke.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for this remembrance together. There is nothing than love. There's nothing than oneness in this holy instant.
Well, we're gonna take this with us and extend it
Mhm.
and make it strong in us. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Devavan. Thank you,
Thank
Christian.
you. Love you.